more on this, let's go to Abdolrasool Divsallar in Rome. He's a professor of economics and international relations at the Catholic University of the Sacred Heart. Good to have you on the program. We now know that the EU is looking at this proposal. Do you think they'll accept Iran's requests?
Well, I think we are closer to the deal than any other time before during the almost over the year discussions about the nuclear deal. I think Iran's response was basically positive from several points. First, it was a kind of respecting the deadline that Europe has asked about Iranian response. And most importantly, Iran has not brought up the discussions about IAEA safeguard issue, which was one of the most critical issues of conflict between, let's say, EU, US, and Iran. But of course, Iran's answer was not yet yes. It was a kind of request to make some amendments, possibly, but not a major one. And as European officials put it, it's not inflammatory. It's not probably something that can lead to discussions to fall apart. But, well, as you said, we need to wait until to have a final response from Tehran and Washington.
Well, Iran has asked the US to show flexibility to fix the three remaining issues that they've been speaking about. How flexible do you think is Washington willing to go to get this deal back up and running?
I think so far Washington has shown sort of flexibility. I mean, we are in a much better position regarding some sort of assuring Iran that a similar situation of 2018 will not repeat. Particularly, the focus of attention was on how European companies, European entities that might enter in Iran after the deal would not be suffered from, let's say, future U.S. sanctions. So what Iran right now asks is somehow giving more assurances on the same front. And I think the problem here is that we don't have a plan B, neither U.S., neither Iran nor EU. Of course, everyone claims that they have some sort of plan B, but at least what is clear is that there is no, let's say, there's no cost-effective plan B on the table on either side. So the failure of the current talks could be a very politically costly phenomenon for each of the actors. And that's why I think we are in the last moments somehow, if we look at it positively, of possible breakthrough in the discussions. And it's critical that Iran has not asked, I think, a major change when it comes to the nuclear part of the deal, which is the major concern of the U.S. and European officials.
Yeah. Abdolrasool, how important then is it that we get an agreement here, and not just politically, as you mentioned, but also in terms of security and economics, not just in Iran, but the region as a whole?
Well, that's a very important point. Actually, the deal is prominent because of its very powerful impact on the regional security. It's one of the cornerstones of the regional security in the Middle East. If the deal fails, we will not be in a good situation because the growing nuclear program of Iran will react other regional players to respond in kind in response, and we may have some sort of let's say nuclear race in the region, and that is the last thing that the region should expect for. So I think from the regional security perspective, the non-proliferation and the stability that the deal brings to the region is so important, and it's somehow the guarantee of the future regional and integration and, let's say, economic growth of the Persian Gulf in broad and the Middle East in particular. So if the deal fails, I think it will also have some sort of negative impact on Iran-Saudi Arabia talks, which is also somehow fragile, and at the same time it creates new tensions between Iran and Israel, which already both countries were high in tension. They were engaged in many clandestine operations against each other's interest, and the failure of the deal at this moment, will create a lot of pressure on Iran-Israel relation. And this is also not good on the international level because we're, as all of us know, we're entangled with a problem in Ukrainian war, with the energy crisis, with the Taiwan and China, and with many other regional and global fronts, which makes the deal so important in this particular time.
Yeah, so many knock-on effects if this deal does fail. Abdolrasool Divsallar, great to get your thoughts on this. Thank you so much.